All right, guys, we are back here. We got some more action coming up for you with the Zowie Gears NA Rumble #1. I'm, of course, Nanman. Joining with me is Boisterous. And we've got the match that we were kind of waiting, the decider. Snakeship versus Towelie. Who's going to move to the quarterfinals? And it's going to be another ZVZ.
I think the real question is, why does Nanman keep pronouncing Snakeship's name Snakeship?
I don't know, because I cannot read. That is why. I think that is the thing of tonight. Nanman cannot read. Because he's supposed to be a snake ship. That is why.
Is that why? Is that
he's
the
supposed to
reasoning?
be? He's supposed to be a snake ship. But anyway, let's get those intros started up. Boisterous, you want to take it away with our first player?
Spine down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have a player from a team that I don't know. It is the green Zerg player, Towelie. Usually I read the emblem, and that tells me, but I don't know on this one.
It's an M.
Yeah.
Mirage. I don't know.
Mirage? Is that it? It might be Mirage.
It could be. You never
might
know.
be
Anyway.
Gaming. I don't know.
Yeah. And we've got his opponent spawning up in the north left position. It is going to be our late blue player from MicroGamerz. He is Snakeships.
There you go, Nan.
Or, as I like to call him, Snakeships. Which will probably be referred to a couple more times before the end of this cast.
Probably, without a doubt. We have at least one more map after this one for you to call him Snakeship.
It will happen, but no. Merry-Go-Round is the map. Of course, bringing back those 3-player maps for all you guys to enjoy out there. If you ever were around in the early MLG days, 2011 time period, when they had exactly test bug in there. So it's been a while since we've seen the 3-player maps. I love the kind of variation to it. And the players know they've already sent their overlords out, bumped into each other, gave each other high fives as they flew past, so they know where the spawns are, and already the variation. But Boisterous, what are your thoughts on the kind of variation between these 2 players in the ZVZ right now?
Well, I mean, right now, the meta is definitely going towards Snakehips. He went for the 15 hatch versus his opponent's 14 pool, which is a much nicer build. Because the 14 pool cannot do damage to you if you 15 hatch. It's almost impossible unless you really, really mess up the 15 hatch or go super economic with it, which he is not doing. He's actually just going to be going right for the spawning pool at 16, I believe. So really, no risks coming out from Snakehips right now.
Yeah, no, it's very, very solid opening here. Behind everything here, extractors coming up for the players. We already see Queen coming up, but everything is looking very normal and very straightforward out of all of these players. And the real kind of exciting stuff is going to start kicking off when we start to see, okay, how long are you going to be keeping your drones in gas? Are you going to be pulling them off right after you get that 100 to get the metabolic boost? When are you going to put it back on? Are you going to keep one on? Where are the variations? Baneling nest timings? Are they going to skip it altogether and just go for roach warrens here? What is going to be happening in the ZVZ? And so that's going to be the exciting part as things start picking up here. First couple lings going to get out on the map here, get the scouting intel that they need, and try to poke in and get a little bit more intel. And Towelie going to be able to start that metabolic boost right away here. At this point in time, keeping all 3 inside of the extractor, so not even going to be wasting any time. Going to be going for a very, very quick tech up behind all of this, and Ling sort of battling it out over on Snakehip's side of the map here, trying to keep an eye on what's going on. But looks like he is able to kind of push Towelie back right before the Queen pops out. So good solid defense so far.
Yeah, definitely. And Towelie, he got a little bit of poke information down there, but it's not too big of a thing. It looks like we are going to have this baneling nest coming up right away for Snakehips, but it is going to be scouted almost instantly by Towelie. And Towelie's actually going to be able to get a full scout off right into the main base. Should be able to see how many drones are in that extractor and how much gas is missing from it right about now. He might be able to get a little bit of damage onto a drone, but I highly doubt he'll be getting a kill right here.
Right, and Snakehips actually did the exact same thing, but has kept his 2 lings kind of hidden inside his opponent's base there, kind of prepared to be able to make them into banelings if he wanted to later on. He was able to scout the baneling nest of his opponent, so this could do some serious damage if his opponent is not paying attention and never scouts those. So we'll see. Metabolic boosts are finishing up. The influx of lings are now starting to come out here. Spine Caller's going to be going down for defense, but
Oh
Ooh,
man, I'm so
two
excited.
banelings. Two
I'm so
banelings.
excited right now. They're coming in. They're about to pop. They're ready. They're swelling, man. Here they come. They're swelling with acid.
Nope, they're not
No,
moving.
they're not moving. They're waiting patiently. They are waiting there for their time to strike. They're waiting for their time to do maximum damage, and that time is right now. Here go the banelings. Oh, right into the drone line. And
Pretty
it looks
solid
like he
hits
killed
there.
off 5 workers with that. But at the same time, we have Towelie moving across the map. He has a lot of Zerglings going right for the throat of his opponent. There are no banelings here to defend Snakehips. And Snakehips, there are too many Zerglings. There's too many Zerglings. He does not have the snakes to defend this. There's no way. It looks like these Zerglings are going to be doing a ton of damage, and another queen might be falling right now. There's too many Zerglings. The Zerglings might be able to get a surround on this queen, and there we go. We have 2 banelings on the way. It looks like a couple of banelings are going to be morphed in for Snakehips, but I'm not sure if he's going to have the time to actually pull this off. He's going to be able to go right for them, and there the banelings are going to be rolling right for the cocoons, and massive hits, and Towelie, he might just take it right here, man.
This is so good here. That timing there, he had such a nice timing to sneak his way in there and will be able to actually have a lot of his lings cleaned up, but he's done so much damage now. He's dropped Snakehips down to only 17 drones. He still has more lings kind of picking apart the lings of his opponent inside the natural, and he's looking in a commanding position now. Snakehips is always hovering around that 25 supply here. He's got banelings on the way to help kind of secure him, save him for now, but so much damage was done. He lost 17 drones in that push there. Now he's going to try to push back, try to make something happen, but with the spine, with the lings that are popping out, with banelings here, Snakehips is going to kind of shut down. He cannot get into his opponent's base to do any counter damage. And, you know, Lair is coming up now for Towelie here. He's getting all of his extractors pretty much added in and saturated at this point in time. And that trickery of Snakehips to be like, oh, I've got 2 banelings here, I don't know if really it was the right decision in all of this.
Yeah, and we have Towelie with some awkward in midfield micro here, trying to take out those banelings for as little Zerglings as possible, and he's actually going to manage it quite well, although his entire force is going to get cleaned up in the ensuing chaos. Maybe not? Oh, wow. Huh. Looks like we are going to have Towelie winning that midfield engagement, and now he's just going to be able to keep spawning those Zerglings. I mean, the big thing that Snakehips lost in that last engagement, the drones were terrible, but he could be alive right now without the drones. The big thing he lost was queens. He lost his ability to produce. And now he has to spend another 300 minerals coming up with those queens, and he doesn't have it.
No, and it's going to be tough. Oh, looks like a waddle of banelings coming their way forward here, and oh, wow, okay. Pretty decent trade-off there for Snakehips, but still baneling left alive, lings left alive now, and drones scrambling to try to find some safe spot inside the extractor, but unsuccessfully so. They do kind of come out to fight. Oh, queen just spawns immediately to get sniped off there, and we do see the spires on the way behind this. So Towelie's already got this kind of backup plan in his mind, saying, you know what, if you clean up these lings, that's fine. You have no answer to the mutas that are going to be coming out soon, and, you know, putting down the wall of spines just in case, you know, there's some crazy flux of units coming across. He knows that there is a Roach Warren done, and we do see a couple of Roaches being produced, plus some missiles on the way, but even Roaches in low number can get killed off by a lot of lings very, very easily, and, you know, Roaches can't attack any air units, so it kind of puts Snakehips in a very, very awkward position going in to the next stages of this game. But, you know, what could Snakehips do at this point, Boisterous?
I don't know. I mean, it's such a hard situation for Snakehips to be in. He's been doing an admirable job keeping himself alive for this long, but he lost way too much production losing those queens. I mean, I always say that killing off a queen is like killing off 3 or 4 barracks. It's so important to keep those queens alive because they really are the heartblood of your production. They kind of almost triple a hatchery's ability to produce units. And not having that for Snakehips right now is absolutely destroying him. He just cannot produce units at all. He does have a couple of spine crawlers on the way to try to defend against these mutas as much as possible, but I mean, he's gonna have to make spine crawlers and he's gonna have to make queens, and then the Zerglings are just gonna come in and kill him, and there's the GG.
And I mean, he was supply capped. Those overlords getting sniped inside of the middle of the map there. He knew he was going to lose like 5 or 6 before those mutas even got over to his side of the map, so he wouldn't be able to produce anything for minutes at a time there, and it was just kind of one bad thing after another there. I mean, Good play there of Towelie. I like the little shenanigans, hiding the banelings inside the main base for Snakehips. Going to try to sneak it in, try to do some damage. But, imagine if he had those 2 banelings back at home instead for that first big influx of like 30 lings there. But, Boisterous, what were your thoughts on that game?
I mean, I really thought that big influx of Zerglings from Towelie just completely won him the game. I mean, Snakehips, he had some fun trickery inside of his opponent's base, but he went really, really aggressive when he did not have the amount of units to do it. I mean, if he had stayed home, and if he had had all of his Zerglings at home to morph maybe, say, 4 Banelings in, he could have held off that push, but in the end of the game, it did not matter. It wasn't enough. He lost 2 queens, and those 2 queens crippled his production for the next probably, I would say, 6 minutes. Mm-hmm. And Towelie was just able to mass produce him into the end of the game.
Well, we do have our second map here figured out for the 2 players, opting for a continuing up with the large map style of play here, and opting for one of the largest maps we've got, going for Frost this time around. Towelie versus Snakehips. Winner of this goes on to play SWS, so they're going to be playing against a very, very strong Protoss player here, and we'll have to see how things are going to be going between them. With how things looked on that game, it just looked like Towelie had the kind of timings down much cleaner than Snakehips.
Yeah.
But, it could very easily change because Snakehips, was teching up with his own style, going for that kind of roach style of play there, and just, I don't know. On Frost, maybe we'll get to see a closer match here where it's not going to get kind of barreled over by 30 lings and just kind of get crippled economically, crippled with losing all of his queens and stuff. But we'll see. Map's loading up here. Game number 2 coming out between these 2 guys. Boisterous, take it away with our introductions, please.
Spunny here in the top left-hand corner for the team that I completely forgot to ask him about during the break. We do have from MirG, it is Towelie as our green Zerg player, currently up 1-0 in this series.
And his opponent spawning up in the northeast position. It's going to be our light blue Zerg player from MicroGamerz. He is Snakehips. And I really wanted to say Snakeships there.
I know you did, buddy. It's okay.
Trying to be good.
I'm here to be your rock now, man. This is a safe place.
It. So what do you think of Frost now? We see it's going to be horizontal spawns between these 2 guys right across the top of the map here, so that is going to factor in with that small little ramp. There's also that 1 watchtower there that are kind of the key central points that you'll be seeing units kind of flood across. But I don't know, last time we saw that sort of 15 hash, 15 pool variation. What would you like to see between these guys on Frost?
It's kind of hard to say. We actually have both of them. They are going to know about the opposing player's spawn at about the same time, just because of how the overlords float. So I don't know. I think that we're going to be seeing a macro game out of Snakehips yet again, because that's kind of what his early plan was in the last game, and I can't imagine him trying to do anything overly aggressive. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I mean, he's probably going to play a lot more defensively versus Towelie this time. I doubt we're going to see that kind of influx of Zerglings heading across the map. He's probably going to keep them at home and try to keep them safe, instead of just sending them out across the map and sacrificing them. He's going to play a much smarter game, and he's going to play a much slower game.
Yeah, which I think is a very good style to play on a map like Frost here. But again, things are pretty much sort of evening up, just like we saw last time, game. Extractors going down about the same time for the players, more or less. We do see Towelie slightly ahead in how things went for his build order. He's going to have the queens up quicker. He's going to have the lings up quicker. It's just kind of the nature of the game when you're playing at this sort of style here. But actually, was supply cap there when unable to get that queen started much quicker than his opponent. So it's that small little variation is just key things that you have to keep in mind with these sort of builds here. And we do see queen coming out for Snakehips as well, and his overlord just popped. But well, I don't know. We'll see how things work out. They know where each other spawns. They know how this thing, how they have to start playing this game here. They know sort of the timings of the kind of naturals and stuff. Ling's coming out for Towelie to get the confirmation of exactly where things are progress along his opponent's path, and he's going to get inside the main base and can see, okay, you are getting metabolic boost. You're still mining gas again, just like last game. You keep that in mind as they're playing things out here, and we'll see if he's going to be able to try to zip in, get any more intel in the process. Queens are going to be popping out any second. He's kind of aware of this and will fall back and going to miss that the mainly nest goes down immediately afterward.
Yeah, which is kind of sad, but at the same time, he should know that the Baneling Nest is coming down. I mean, these drones kept mining gas, and there's not a whole lot else you would mine gas for other than a Baneling Nest. You don't go straight into a roach den, or at least I've never really seen that at the high levels of play where people just skip the Banelings altogether because it's such a risky ploy.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's too much of a surprise, and even if it was a little bit of a surprise for him, he did manage to scout it out before the Baneling Nest finished.
Yep. So yeah, good intel coming out, and Towelie again playing with that spine crawler. This is something that we saw last time around. It's something he's comfortable with, and allows him to just sort of play maybe a little bit more economic focus. That he's like, okay, I don't need as many fighting forces right now because I've got that spine, I've got my queens that I feel comfortable enough with that I can sneak in a few more drones while you have to make maybe a few more lings instead. And already we're seeing an evolution chamber from Snakeships getting that +1 ground carapace here, which is going to make his lings that much stronger in these Ling-Baneling battles, and very, very effective for the kind of next stage of things. But Towelie going for all the extractors, getting the lair again, and looking much more like he's going to be going for that Muta-style play one more time. And it worked so well last time. I like it.
I would be very surprised if we did not see Snakeships attack with this +1 ground carapace. +1 ground carapace, it's a massive upgrade. It's like as big as +1 attack for Zealots, because it allows your Zerglings to live through a Baneling hit. They live with like 2 health, but they live through a Baneling hit.
Yeah.
Which is extremely important in these sorts of engagements, because after that, they can just be cannon fodder. It takes 2 Banelings to kill 4 Zerglings instead of 1 Baneling. It takes 2 Banelings to kill 8 Zerglings. It's crazy how much more important it is to have that upgrade, because it lets you blunder a little bit, and that little bit can save your game.
And we do see that big influx coming over here from Snakeships, denying that third base of Towelie. He's got Banelings behind this here, and really looking at a very, very scary position, and going to try to poke in there, but, sees the additional spines coming down, so he's like, all right, you know what? I have to wait for this big influx of units to come over here, wait for the next set of Banelings, and then I just got to start moving in here because it's going to get scary very soon. And Spire's about halfway done, so Towelie really has to hold the line at this point in time and hold off this push before those mutas can come out.
Yeah, and it's going to be a hard push to hold because we have a lot of Banelings in production right now, and the Zerglings for Snakeships are much stronger than his opponents. And here we see the engagement starting to go down, and not the best hits on that mineral line. We only see 8 workers going down, which isn't huge. It's good, but it's not massive.
It's not what he wanted. I mean, he lost a lot of them to that one spine crawler there and did a lot of damage to the Baneling Nest and hatchery instead of dealing the damage to the mineral line. And Towelie survives another day and gets to start building those Miraculous now. And that was a very, very well positioned hold there for Towelie. And now Snakeships, he does have his third base, does have additional queens coming out, still progressing to the next stage, got the Roach Warren, getting that +1 missile, but his lings that he's got across the map right now really are not going to be able to find any angle to get in here. And as soon as those mutas catch all those lings and the Banelings, he's going to realize, I have to scramble again and get a defense up.
Yeah, and this defense is going to be hard for him to actually get up because he is just now getting his layer. He does have +1 missile attack on the way, so as soon as this layer finishes, he's going to be able to go right into that Hydra Den. But he's going to need to hold on for 50 seconds until that Hydra Den is done, and he's going to have to hold on with minimal losses. And right now, I mean, he has 2 Spore Crawlers in every base except for his main. And if we see Towelie pick up on that, Snakeships is going to be in some trouble.
Ooh, yeah, that is kind of a very, very important location, especially since the lair is located there. He's got that evolution chamber in the back there, and you know we do see the Mutas trying to get in here. They find at least one of the spores. We'll be able to snipe it or force the cancel, and that rebuilds it right away. All the queens have kind of been positioned over here, and that is a lot of queens right now out of Snake. He's up to 7 queens here. And roaches are on the way as well, you know, continuing up with the upgrades. A lot of reconstitutions coming out, and we see Towelie behind this is kind of going for that roach style too. He's got the double evolutions. Like, all right, Mutas, get out on the map, get me that map vision, get me that map control, push you back, force a lot of static defense out of you, so I can be able to kind of get up to the next stages comfortably. But the one downside is, with all this, he still has not been able to secure a third. Snakehips constantly sending these lings over there to deny that. Mutas will finally be able to intercept and put a stop to that and be able to establish his third, but, you know, it is still not yet even built, and that drone lead right now for Snakehips is really helping him out.
Yeah, we are going to see that influx of... I'm surprised we haven't seen an influx of Hydras really happen yet. In fact, we only see roaches in the building, and this is like super ballsy play from Snakehips when he has no real reason to be ballsy. There we finally have 8 Hydras on the way. I guess he was just waiting for upgrades for them. I can't process why he wouldn't build those Hydras sooner.
Right. Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that either. At least he finally has 4 crawlers up inside of the main base, has 3 there. 1 queen went down, but when you have 7 queens, 1 queen dying is not really that big of a deal.
Yeah, and it looks like we have these Hydras starting to move around. And this force from Snakehips is going to get a lot scarier in no time at all.
It is true. I mean, Groove Spines is on the way here. He's got the Infestation Pit, and Towelie behind this is saying, you know what? I'm going to go get my centrifugal hooks there. I'm going to get my own Hydralisk Den and continue up, make Banelings, make roaches here, and just have a very strong force. But he's got to be careful because Snakehips is ready to start moving across that map. And the one advantage that Towelie has right now is the fact that he's got a lot of roaches, which are great for absorbing damage in this.
I mean, the real issue is that those roaches are great for absorbing damage for Broodlords or something that is far away, or Hydras or something like that. But Mutas aren't those units. Mutas have to get up close. You cannot stay far away with Mutalisks. They're just going to get up there and they're just going to die, and your roaches are going to watch them die and be like, well, that kind of sucks. But we are going to have this engagement happening now, and some beautiful splits from Snakehips actually limiting the amount of damage these Banelings can do, but there was still a lot of Banelings, and they are still able to do a lot of damage. And it looks like we have a bulk of the muted numbers getting cleaned up here, and the big damage from these Hydralisks, I mean, they're impressive at cleaning up these roaches.
Yeah, and that actually hit quicker than I was expecting it, because if he had waited just a little bit longer, centrifugal hooks would have been done, and those splits really would not have happened. He would not have been able to have split in that point with speed Banelings on creep. Just no, you could not run away from that. It's not going to work with your roaches and your Hydrals. They're all going to get melted. But we do see muscular augmentation getting researched as well, so we can have that little bit more mobility. Pathogen Gland is finishing up here, so he has those fungals available to him. And he's also taking a 4th base behind all this. So, you know, that is one thing that Snakehips has been doing very, very well this game. And this is something we talked about at the start, is we're going to see that more passive, macro-oriented style of play coming out from Snakehips to get the economy going that he wants. And actually shoving his way in here, but has to be careful about the angle he's taking. And it looks like a lot of roaches, a lot of Hydralisks are out here for Towelie, and he should be able to hold this off no problem.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna hold this off. I'm not sure if I'm gonna say it's no problem, because he does lose the last of his Mutalisks, which is a big weight off Snakehips' shoulders. Especially considering the fact that he had such an economic lead for so long into this game. It looks like Snakehips is going to get completely cleaned up, though, including all of the queens, which is quite annoying. It's not quite the action he wanted.
No, and this is going to be tough, especially since he was trying to establish a 4th base, and now that he's got really a minimal defensive force behind this, that is going to have to get canceled here, and he's got to start canceling now before he loses it, and does get that canceled away. Very, very nice. Now he's got to scramble and lock down that defense, but it's still going to be tough. Very, very close, and upgrades coming out for both players. Snakehips does have that +2 missile attack finished up before his opponent, so he's got that slight upgrade advantage, but there's still a lot of forces over here for Towelie that he's got to be careful about.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised he's not trying to force his advantage with this +2 missile attacks, because this upgraded advantage is not going to last for long. It's going to be done in about 55 seconds, and then after that, Towelie is just a hop, skip, and a jump away from having the upgrade advantage by himself with +2 ground carry pace.
I would also like to see him get that hive tech started up here. You know, he had to cancel that fourth base and all this. You know, he had a little bit of extra resources for mineral wise, but losing a couple roaches in the process. Got to get the rest of his fighting forces over there. Banelings are behind this pack as well, and he's going to try to get in there and get some good shots against the roaches. Some decent explosions going off here, and very, very nice positioning of Snakehips. Going to be able to start scrunching in and getting that constriction going on Towelie's forces, and will force him all the way back. And now Towelie has to be the one to scramble.
Yeah, and I mean, I love the addition of Banelings into this Roach Hydra force. They are so good at dealing damage in engagements like that, or at least forcing micro. And any moment that your opponent is forced to micro is a moment that he's not doing something else on the map. And it's a moment that you can do something else on the map, because Banelings, you pretty much just A-move them when you're in a fight like that. Like, I mean, you don't have to worry that much about them. Snakehips commenting on how cool the fights look, and I can't disagree with him. They do look quite nice.
They do indeed. I like that he has the time to really appreciate how epic of a fights they have been so far. Now, I do like he's also taking another fourth base, trying to grab it at the lower side this time. You know, a little bit harder for his opponent to try to go and engage, because that'll put him in a very awkward position, a little bit more out of position than he would like to be. But looks like Towelie's ready to start pushing back. He is going to be sitting at 2-2 very soon, and will have that upgrade advantage over Snakehips. So this is a very, very nice timing where it can hit, where he's got that slight advantage. But splitting his forces probably not the best way. He's got a couple more going over here, try to attack a Spore, try to attack that third base, but they're going to get cleaned up. A lot of Banelings actually kind of wasted in that engagement, but that is all right. At the same time, oh no! Snakehips taking a bad engagement, trying to chase those units up the ramp there. Without that vision, they were taking a lot more damage than they would have liked.
But the Banelings, they're rolling in. They're going right for the Hydrals, and the Hydrals to get melted, and Towelie's forced to call the GG.
Wow.
That was some nice Banelings right there.
That was.
They yelled for Rohan, and they just rode right on it.
Nice. Sorry, that just makes me laugh about your failure at the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah, I had to redeem myself. I have to redeem myself somehow. It's gonna happen, man.
It will. Anyway, what did you think of that game there? Snakehips and Towelie there. Snakehips tying it up 1-1 now.
Man, you know what, man? Those fights looked really cool.
They did look really cool. That was a good way to put it. There were some good fights in there, and I think that was a good way to show Snakehips' style of play too.
I need to figure out what team Towelie is in. Towelie's
on
Miraculous Gaming.
Miraculous. That was close.
Miraculous. No, we weren't. We said Mirage and Mirror. Neither of us were close to Miraculous. We both had MIR, but that's because that's what his clan tag is.
Yep. All right.
The only thing that could have been farther off is Miraculous Gamers.
Mm-hmm. So the next map that we've got decided is King Sejong Station. Should be cool to see how things work out. I don't know. It's much more of a Towelie map than it is a Snakehips map from the way it's designed. But we'll have to see. Maybe Snakehips has got some tricks up his sleeve. Go for a 6-pool or something.
Yeah, I mean, Snakehips, he's played a very similar fashion in every game so far, and I would love to see him kind of switch it up, because Towelie kind of switched it up in the last game. He had a hyper-aggressive first half in the first game, and that's not really what he did last game. He kind of played a little bit more defensively, played a little bit more conservatively. But anyway, spawning up here in the top left-hand corner for Miraculous Gaming. Now that I know the actual name of his team, I am so happy with myself, man. It is going to be our green Zerg player, Towelie.
And spawning down here in the southeast position, it is going to be our red Zerg player, tying things up 1-1 here in this best of 3 series from MicroGamerz. He is Snakehips. So King's Sejong Station, and we talked a little bit about it before when we got to see some matches on it before, but you know, Towelie likes these kind of smaller maps. He's does very, very well, especially seeing. Well, I mean, the third three-player map is not really a smaller map, but the positions they were, he was able to be much more aggressive. And this one, it's easier to kind of streamline and hit some very nice timings. I would like him not to go for mutas this time, though. I think it worked out really well in game one because he had that huge advantage with that big Ling push. But last game where he kind of shot up to the mutas and then did a little bit of damage, but really never made much happen out of that. And it kind of allowed Snakehips to kind of just continue to have his economic lead there. It just didn't, I don't know, it was tough on him. So we're going to have to see how things work out on King's Sejong Station here.
I'm getting trolled in chat right now.
Mirror Gaming, yes.
Mirror Gaming fighting. I hate you all.
It's okay. I can't read, so it might as well be Mirror Gaming to me. But we see hatcheries coming down pretty much the exact same timing this time around. So these players playing to the map this time, feeling a little bit more comfortable going, you know what, pool first into hatch. I don't want to end up just dying completely for playing too greedy on it. Let's just see how things work out here. And Extractor is going to go down immediately afterward. And that's something cool that we've seen from both these players is they do really focus on that tech up route. Get those banelings, get to those layers at really nice timings with it, and keep those drones on the extractors instead of pulling them off and playing the more kind of economic route of just heavy drone production. But we'll see. I especially with the way this map is set up is you've got that kind of one main ramp. With Towelie always loving that spine crawler, I think he's going to have that slight advantages in those Ling-Baneling battles again.
Yeah, definitely.
Big influx of Lings, though, coming out from Snakehips.
Yeah, and this is really the big danger in ZBZ, is that the game can turn from completely passive to completely aggressive in about 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, it's no time at all. It's just as soon as you decide, I'm just going to go kill him. That's when the game turns aggressive. It's like in the time it takes you to start saying and finish saying that sentence.
Well, I mean, one thing that Towelie has going for him right now is he does have that metabolic boost started before his opponent, and Snakehips does get it in there and does get the confirmation, and it's just kind of a sigh of relief. Okay, you're doing the same thing that you've been doing before. Still mining from gas. You've got your metabolic boost on the way. I didn't really get much damage done, but I forced a lot more Lings. And I was able to kind of get an idea of what you're doing, but Towelie says, okay, I'm going to use these Lings. Baneling Nest is coming out. My metabolic boost is going to be done very soon. I'm just going to use these Lings and deal a lot of damage with them.
Yeah, he's going to be going right for the throat yet again, which just should not surprise Snakehips at all. I mean, Snakehips, he's played Towelie twice now. Towelie, every time that he gets units like this, he goes on the attack with them. He very rarely sits back on his heels and kind of passively does nothing with units. If he has units, he's like, screw it. They're useless sitting in my base. I might as well just go put some numbers on the damage counter.
Rack up those kills there, and it's the way you should be playing if you're playing as Zerg here. So we're gonna see how things work out. The metabolic boost of Snakehips is not much further behind, and he does have those Lings over there and has the overload, so he got the confirmation. Actually is delaying it. Those 2 Lings there is really crucial because metabolic boost is going to be done now for Snakehips by the time Towelie's Lings get over here. He's going to have Banelings for defense. He's got that spine crawler as well, and I don't think this push is going to work out at all.
Yeah, I highly doubt it. I mean, these 4 Banelings should be able to clean up all of these Zerglings because there aren't that many. Now, of course, we do have 4 Banelings of Towelie's own now spawning in, and it's really going to be about micro in this engagement, but Snakehips has the huge advantage here, having that spine crawler. Having that queen are so massive in these Ling-Baneling engagements, and it looks like Towelie recognizes that and just leaves. He's like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, and he's going up, basically saying, all right, let's get to the lair. Let's get those additional extractors going. It's looking pretty much very standard from how we've seen Towelie play previously, and Snakehips kind of going, all right, let's poke up, see what's going on, and he can see the Banelings morphing in, and still trying to press his luck, seeing if he can get in there, see if he can maybe get a couple of good trade-offs at this point. The Banelings have come over as well for Snakehips at this point, but Right now, nothing too crazy coming out. Just those normal Ling Baneling. And oh, does force and gets a lot of good trade-offs there for Snakehips. One Baneling for like 6 Lings there. And we do see Towelie continuing up, says, no, Mutas is the way to go. I don't care. This is how I play my ZVZ right now.
I agree with that. I mean, just trying to force positions like that is kind of rough. It looks like we do have 5 drones going down, which is quite annoying. And we have another couple Banelings getting blown off a little bit early. However, it looks like Snakehips is going to get forced back, and Towelie is going to be able to come back into the game a little bit. Still, I mean, it's been a very low action game. 8 workers killed for Snakehips is very good, but it's not game ending yet. But we are going to see the mutas coming out from Towelie.
And at this point in time, you know, there's really not that insane queen count that we saw last game. He's only up to 4 right now. Last time there was like 7 when those mutas were coming out across the map.
Yeah, the only difference in this game right now is that Snakehips is already at layer. If you remember, when those mutas first popped out, Snakehips was not at layer last game, and it was very, very awkward. There was a couple strange moments where it was like, I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to hold this one off. This is gonna be rough. But he managed to pull it out in the game, and I feel like he's in a better position this time.
Wow, and Snakehips is getting some great trade-offs here, sneaking in with these Banelings, getting some good detonations, but you know, he'll get in there and get the confirmation. Okay, your mutas have popped now. Now, immediately starts the Hydralisk Den immediately starts with spores. The next set of queens are coming out very, very soon, so it is going to be a little bit dicey for the time being, but again, this is Snakehips by going for the kind of in-your-face lings, he's able to get his third base up, able to get that economy going, which helped him to win last game. Those trade-offs would happen, but he'd have that better economy and just kind of able to really take advantage of that. So we're going to have to see, you know, being supply capped is going to cause some issues. A big influx of lings swinging their way across right now. There are roaches, there are banelings, so the lings shouldn't be an issue. It's going to be the mutas and how he defends against it. And a lot of overlords going to keep getting sniped off, which is going to be tough, but at least he's got the queens here, and that queen count is getting up. He's now up to 7. Lucky number 7 here for Snakehips.
Yeah, he's definitely not rolling on snake eyes here.
Oh, Spore Crawler getting some kills already. 2 kills have already taken place there, and the muta's really not going to get too much damage done, especially with 5 more Hydralisks coming out. The queen's kind of ready in position, and will manage to pick off a couple of drones transferring their way across here. But you know, this is kind of all that Towelie can really make happen. This time he's done a little bit better, killing off a lot more overlords. He's able to establish his own third base, and all right, take advantage, transfuse, save that overlord in the process. But I was going to say, what is his going to follow-up be? And Enduring Locusts. He's saying, you know what? I've seen how Stefano plays on this map. I like that style. Let's go for it. Let's split the map and just make Swarm Host.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think more importantly than the Enduring Locusts, man, is the fact that he's going to use Swarm Hosts to follow it up. It's not that dangerous of an upgrade all on its own.
By itself, yeah. I'm just gonna get it and sit there and be like, I could make Swarm Host. You never know, but I'm not.
It's your opponent's like, I don't want to get into a game with Swarm Hosts. Just taps out right away. It's like, no, I'm not doing this. Not tonight. It's not worth the money.
I don't have 2 hours to play. Yeah. Group Spine's coming out though. For Snakehips. I mean, I like his army that he's got at this point in time. Like, really, Towelie's got a great style that he's doing. He's saying, you have to stay back, you have to defend, you have to pay attention to my mutas, and I'm just going to go for Swarm Host. But there is that window right now where he is super vulnerable before he gets up a very large Swarm Host count where, you know, his bases could very easily start taking some damage. And Queen's so slow off of creep, but able to start picking off a couple of the mutas. And they're going to be here to try to intercept. They know that this push is coming, and it's really going to rely on getting those Swarm Hosts burrowed in there, getting some static defense up, and being in a solid position. But, I don't know, this is dangerous.
It's definitely dangerous. However, he is about to have 10 Swarm Hosts up, and 10 Swarm Hosts is kind of right at that line where it's like, well, there's not too much I have to worry about now. I can kind of just kill whatever. But it looks like we are going to have Towelie smashing through, or Snakehips, excuse me, smashing through the first line of those Locusts, and Towelie is going to be going right around, and he's actually going to be trying to race the Locusts right up into the natural of Towelie, and this is a brilliant play from Snakehips. He's going to be going right around these Swarm hosts. He learned his lessons from watching Stefano play and be like, well, if I can't hit you in one spot, I'm going to hit you in every other spot. And he is. Have a lot of drones falling for Towelie right now, and Snakehips, he might just take this game right here.
Oh my gosh. 50 drones have been killed so far here, and he's taken out the Spire right now inside the main base with the Roaches. The Roaches and the Hydralisks at the natural are just still doing so much damage. They will finally get cleaned up, but look, we see another wave of Roaches coming up. A fourth base is getting grabbed right now for Snakehips. He feels so comfortable with how things are going and still killing off more and more drones. 52 have been killed, and now the third base is under siege. There's a lot of Swarm hosts already there, though, so those Roaches are going to die out much, much quicker. But how many drones is he going to have left after this? I mean, he's really sitting there about 25, and Roaches are still inside the natural. They did not get cleaned up yet. Oh, but wow, Roaches found a nice sweet spot up kind of nice and safe. They can hang out with the ice and maybe come back and deal some damage later.
Start a new life up there. The strike out on their own.
Yes. I mean, there's four of them.
They saw the horrors of war firsthand. Going AWOL of the Swarm army.
But, you know, Muta's still out on the map. Link's still out on the map, able to deny the fourth base for now. And supplies are still kind of even. And the thing about this, though, is during that whole push, Snakehips was able to get a Spire, and he's got 14 Mutas about to pop out.
Hey, man, never mind. They were double agents. They came right down into the third base, so they're doing a little bit more damage to those drones. It looks like we are going to have 58 drones.
Gosh. Oh, that is
rough.
That is painful.
Towelie needs to win right now. Like, he cannot waste any time in doing the same amount of damage, if not more. We have mutants on the way.
He's got to go. I mean, oh no.
No, he doesn't have any hydrants. He doesn't have anything to back this up.
Nope.
We have protection on the way. Yeah. All right.
3. We'll see a fourth one get killed off, and he's just queued them up and says, all right, I'll kill him. Look, I even have Overseers. They're going to follow your army. You're going to get none over there by the time I'm through with all these Mutas flying out. And, oh yeah, Towelie says, I got nothing. GG.
That was amazing by Snake.
That was
fantastic.
Really good. I'm excited to see how he actually can play against SWS there, but Towelie versus Snakehips, great ZVZ there. I mean, it really got to see such a nice progression over those 3 games, which was really, really cool to see. Like, game 1, Towelie hit some amazing timings and just sort of tore apart Snakehips. And then we got to see those larger map with Frost. Snakehips got to play the style that he liked, the style that he enjoyed there. Roach Hydralis able to push in, get some good trade-off, and really played very well. And I like that Towelie was still mixing up. You know, he's comfortable with the Muta style, goes for the Mutas, try to keep his opponent off guard, tries to get into the Swarm host, but, you know, it's very similar to Mech. And you made this reference before, Boisterous, that it's like, go where that army is not. You can't be in all places at once. So if you're sitting here defending your third, well, I'm just going to go right past it and go into the main base and go into the natural. And he just picked Towelie apart. Like, he killed off like 60 drones that game. So, you know, he's got no economy. It does make it kind of painful. And, you know, it wasn't that he was only doing that. Like, he was teching up behind all that. Had the Spire up. Had, like, you know, 20 Mutas about to pop by the time Towelie was ready to move across the map. So, great ZVZ series there. But what did you think of the series overall, or just that map there, Boisterous?
Well, I mean, I think you summed it up perfectly. He went everywhere that his opponent was not, and then he countered him. That's how you beat Swarm hosts, and it's hard once your opponent gets the sufficient amount of Swarm hosts to be everywhere they're not, because they're everywhere. Because that's kind of what Swarm hosts do. But if you can find that vulnerability and push that vulnerability, a Swarm host army will topple right over, because they're just not fast enough.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, that does mean we have Snakehips moving on. He's going to be playing SWS here, and they're going to be battling out in the quarterfinals. And I think that was our last player to make it into the quarterfinals. Yeah. So. We already know that pretty much all the other maps have been decided. We know the semis. Like, Baldwin has moved on. He's going to be playing either SWS or Snakehips there. Um, and we've got Guitar Cheese and Kelazar are the other players to move on. So really nice of how things have progressed so far in the tournament. A lot of great matches. So a big thank you to everybody that has tuned in and watching tonight. We really appreciate you guys checking out the first NA Rumble. I'm, of course, Nan Man. Boisterous is joining me, co-casting side of things, and we've got the best observer in NA, Current TV, helping out with the production, the observing, all that kind of good stuff behind the scenes. But none of this could be possible without our sponsors and the people helping out with this. Of course, is Excello. We've also got Zowie there, of course, since it is the Zowie Gear and a Rumble. It would kind of be weird if Zowie was not helping out with it. But yeah, we've got great action still to come with it. $100 on the line gets broken down for the top 4 players there. First place does get the 70, second place gets 20, third and fourth place get $5 each there. So definitely a nice little consolation prize. Congratulations, you made it to the semis. Here's $5 for your time.
Mm-hmm. And guys, I would just like to point out that I'm not sure what else is going to be hosted on this channel, but at the very least, there's going to be a lot of Zowie Gear NA Rumbles. So go ahead and hit the follow button right down there and follow the channel. This is gonna happen probably weekly, right? I don't know. I need to talk to Dalk.
It's guaranteed at least monthly right now.
All right.
We're gonna see, how popular this comes. Maybe we can start to get it going weekly, because that would be awesome. But right now it looks like a lot of you guys are enjoying it. At least tweet at us, let us know if you want to see it more often. Maybe we can try to make that something that happen. You can also tweet at Zowie there, of course. Their Twitter is at Zowie Gear. Let them know that you guys enjoy the Zowie Gear NA Rumbles. But do we have confirmation on who we're going to be seeing next? Are we going to be?
It's going to be SWS versus.
Okay, good. Snake hit.